Welcome to Movies Decoded. This is your source for movie and pop culture news. Today, we'll be discussing Marvel Studios' Black Widow, now playing in theaters and streaming on Disney Plus with Premier Access.
Okay, you got a plan, or shall I just stay duck and cover?
My plan was to drive us away.
Well, your plan sucks.
Black Widow is Marvel Studios' first film in Phase 4 of their MCU, and after being delayed by over a year since its original release date, it is easy to say that the film was certainly worth the wait. Black Widow is a cinematic and action-packed return to the MCU, even after the release of 3 original streaming series on Disney+. The film finally sheds light on Natasha Romanoff's history and carries themes of family and freedom heavily on its shoulders. However, before we emphasize the good factors of the film, it's important to recognize the not-so-great ones. Black Widow has a few problems previous MCU installments have suffered from, being inconsistent pacing, a poorly handled villain, and detours from important elements. Black Widow's first 2 acts are action-packed, and do give quite a bit of insight on Natasha's past. In the second act, the story slows down a bit to give Natasha's dysfunctional family, consisting of Yelena Belova, the Red Guardian, and Elena Vostokov, to reconnect, a directorial choice that does help advance the story. However, the third act is a bit rushed. The finale is satisfying, but everything changed from dire to exceptional too abruptly. It isn't a great help either that Taskmaster, the advertised villain of the film, is absent for a majority of the movie, and is actually just a pawn to a much more important and historical persona. Fortunately, this higher-ranked bad guy has enough of a past with Natasha and the other elite widows to make him a cool addition to Marvel Studios' rogue gallery. Though, that does mean that Taskmaster has a smaller role than he was anticipated to have, even if the film cannot be discriminated against for that aspect. Finally, Black Widow has a much larger story that shies away from Natasha Romanoff's. The idea of reconnecting with family is a big one in the film, but it is more of a generality than being directly linked to Natasha. Additionally, the ability to exercise free will is a large part of why Natasha fights, so that everyone can lead their own lives. These themes, as well as the high stakes, take away from the title character's personal journey, but can still comfort audiences who want Natasha's character to develop further and embrace her emotions. Besides those few issues, Black Widow is still a great movie, packed with heart-racing spy action, CGI, great characters, and solid character development. Black Widow is another great MCU film. The cast is especially good, with Scarlett Johansson returning to the role of Natasha Romanoff, and newcomers to the MCU, Florence Pugh, David Harbour, and Rachel Weisz, also doing a wonderful job. This just may be Scarlett Johansson's best portrayal of the character yet, exceeding the standards she has set for herself with past performances. Natasha is a really sentimental character in the movie, which is a side of her audiences don't see enough. Florence Pugh plays Yelena Belova, Natasha's surrogate sister, exceptionally. Her place in the larger story and to Natasha's story feels very important and crucial to who Natasha is. David Harbour brings comedic relief to the film as the Red Guardian, or Alexei Shostakov, a knockoff Soviet Union Captain America, and the girl's father. Finally, Rachel Weisz as Melina Vostokov, the girl's mother and Alexei's love interest, is another elite widow who helps the family advance in their plans. The group really does feel like a dysfunctional family, and as much as their involvement may feel distracting at times, they are needed in the film's scenarios. The movie is a spy/espionage film, similar to that of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Captain America 2. Having Natasha accept those around her as a family has been touched upon in previous films, but making that idea such a huge part of Black Widow is what sets it apart from previous installments. It simply has a lot of heart. Another thing to consider is that Black Widow is a prequel, which gives it more creative liberty. However, the movie does advance the MCU further with one crucial post-credit scene, the introduction of great new characters, and an unseen new look at Natasha Romanoff, forever changing the way audiences will view her going forward. All in all, Black Widow is another great addition to the Phase 4 lineup and the MCU as a whole. Natasha Romanoff is a character who has been in the MCU for over 10 years, and it's about time she got the spotlight. Natasha has yet to get the proper send-off she deserves, but this is more than good enough for now. Did you watch Black Widow yet? Leave your thoughts and comments below, and like and subscribe if you would like to hear more from Movies Decoded. As always, you can check out more Movies Decoded content on YouTube right now.